Hi everyone, I'm Nancy, a 28-year-old marketing executive at William & Brooks. What I'm about to share will absolutely blow your mind. I met James at the annual marketing summit in Chicago. He was presenting on digital transformation, and I was immediately drawn to his confidence and that warm, genuine smile. During the networking mixer, we hit it off instantly, bonding over our shared love of true crime podcasts and spicy Thai food. "You're different from the usual corporate types," he said, cracking me up with his spot-on impressions of stuffy executives. Our first date was supposed to be a quick coffee, but it turned into 5 hours of nonstop conversation at a little hole-in-the-wall pizza joint. Within 6 months, we were inseparable. My best friend, Sarah, couldn't stop teasing me. "Girl, you're glowing. But have you met his mother yet?" she asked during one of our weekly coffee meetups. "Not yet," I replied. "He says she's a bit traditional." Traditional turned out to be a wild understatement. The first time I met Patricia Anderson, she gave me a look that made me feel like a contestant on The Price is Right, and I was the consolation prize. "So you work in marketing?" "How quaint," she said, the word dripping with disdain. I always thought James would end up with someone from our country club circle. Victoria Matthews, for instance, her family has such a lovely summer home in the Hamptons. James squeezed my hand under the table. "Mom, Nancy just landed the Johnson account. It's the biggest deal her firm has ever seen." "How fortunate for her company," Patricia replied with a tight smile. Despite her frostiness, James proposed a year and a half later. It was perfect, until the wedding planning began. "The Andersons have always married at street rages," Patricia declared at our first planning meeting. "And the color scheme must be cream and gold. Anything else would be pedestrian." "Actually," I countered, "we were thinking of an outdoor ceremony at Riverside Gardens." "Oh, how unique. I suppose some people enjoy that sort of thing," she said with a tone that suggested I had just suggested serving hot dogs at the reception. James' younger brother, Michael, pulled me aside later. "Don't let her get to you," he said. "She did the same thing to James' ex, Linda. Mom's got serious control issues." Even James's dad, Robert, seemed resigned. "Patricia just wants the best for her son," he'd say with a weary smile, but his eyes told a different story. Sarah, on the other hand, saw right through Patricia. "She's marking her territory like a designer-clad pit bull. You need to stand your ground." I tried to keep the peace, but Patricia's suggestions quickly escalated into demands. She started showing up at our apartment unannounced, always with catalogs and vendor contacts in tow. "I'm just trying to help, dear," she'd say. "After all, you're not exactly familiar with our social circle's expectations." The first major red flag came with an invitation to one of her tea parties, which she called a formal welcome to their social circle. I should have known better. "Everyone, I'd like you to meet Nancy," Patricia announced to the room. She used to help around our house before catching James's eye. Quite the ambitious little thing. The room went silent. My cheeks burned as the women exchanged smug, knowing looks. "Actually, I'm a marketing executive," I managed to say, forcing a smile. "Oh, of course you are, dear. Social mobility is so inspiring," she replied with a saccharine grin. I left the party in tears and called Sarah immediately. "That witch, you need to document everything. Voice recordings, texts, the works," she said. When I confronted James that night, his reaction floored me. "Mom probably didn't mean it that way," he said, looking exasperated. "She's just old-fashioned. You're being too sensitive." "Too sensitive?" I shot back. "She told everyone I was your maid. She's having trouble adjusting. Give her time," he insisted. That's when I got a message from Linda, James' ex. "I saw what happened at the tea party," she wrote. "Patricia did the same thing to me. She told everyone I was a waitress who served James at a charity event. I was a pediatric surgeon when I met Linda for coffee. She spilled everything. Patricia had shown up at the hospital during my surgeries, telling James I was unavailable because I prioritized work. She even tried to convince my supervisor to schedule me for holidays when the Andersons had events. It was shocking, but not entirely surprising. Sarah, my best friend, had already helped me start a log of Patricia's behavior. The accidental wine spill on my presentation notes before a big meeting. The rumors she spread at the country club about my humble beginnings. The constant guilt-tripping of James about missing family events. "Remember when you wanted to be a teacher?" Patricia asked during dinner one evening. Before that marketing phase, the private school board still has an opening. Mom, I love my job, James said, his voice tight. Family businesses need attention, darling. Nancy surely understands that her career might need adjusting. I watched James closely, searching for a flicker of resistance, but he just stared at his plate, pushing food around with his fork. That night, as I lay awake, the truth hit me. This wasn't just about me. Patricia had a pattern, and I was merely her latest target. But unlike Linda, I wasn't going to disappear quietly. I needed evidence, allies, and a plan. Little did Patricia know, her perfect tea party had set the stage for her biggest mistake. The isolation started subtly. Our couple friends began canceling plans. My calls went unanswered. At a charity gala, I overheard whispers. She's just after the Anderson fortune. Patricia said she caught her snooping through Robert's office for financial documents. I confronted James that night. Your mother is destroying my reputation, I said. Why would Mom lie? Maybe you're just not making enough effort with her friends, he replied. Then came the emergencies, my birthday dinner. James rushed out because Patricia had fallen. My big presentation. She had chest pains. Every time, she miraculously recovered as soon as James arrived. The final straw came when my boss called me in. Nancy, someone has offered to invest heavily in our firm, on a condition we let you go. They've raised concerns about your professional conduct. Was it Patricia Anderson? I asked, my voice shaking. His silence was answer enough. That afternoon, I ran into Emma, one of Patricia's closest friends, at the coffee shop. She looked troubled. I overheard Patricia on the phone. She said, she's planning something about you and that new intern at your office. She mentioned photos. And James. My blood ran cold. The next evening, Patricia invited us to dinner. As we arrived, the young intern from my office was just leaving, looking confused. Oh, Thomas, thank you for dropping off those contracts, Patricia said sweetly. What contracts? James asked. The ones Nancy asked him to bring. They've been working very closely lately. That's a lie, I snapped. I've barely spoken to him. Then explain these, Patricia said, pulling out photos of Thomas and me at lunch. A concerned friend took these. You seem cozy. It was a team lunch, I said, my voice shaking. The entire marketing department was there. Those photos are cropped. Emma's voice rang out from the doorway. I watched Patricia plan this whole thing, she said, holding up her phone. Here's a recording of her instructing the photographer. Make sure you only get shots of Nancy with a young man. Nothing else. James's face went pale. Mom, he stammered. I was protecting you. Patricia cried. She's not good enough for this family. Michael stepped into the room, his expression grim. Like you protected James from Linda and Amanda before her, he said. Should I tell him about Dad's secretary who quit because of your rumors too? Michael. Patricia hissed, her composure cracking. No, Mom. James needs to know. Every relationship, every friendship that didn't fit your plan, you destroyed them all. James turned to me, his face stricken. Nancy, I'm so sorry. I should have. Should have what? I interrupted. Believed me? Protected me? I did everything to make this work. I tolerated the insults, the lies, the manipulation. But I won't let you destroy my career or my dignity. I pulled out my phone and showed James the texts, recordings, and witness statements I collected. I'm done, I said, my voice steady. I deserve better than this. I walked out of Patricia's perfectly decorated dining room, ignoring her protests and James's calls. Sarah was waiting in her car outside. You were right, I told her, throwing my overnight bag into the back seat. I need to choose myself. As we drove away, I saw James standing in the driveway, looking lost. But for the first time in months, I felt found. Life got exponentially better after I moved into my own apartment. 6 months of peace and focusing on myself felt like oxygen after drowning. The board unanimously voted to promote you to VP of Marketing. My boss announced one day. Your handling of the Miller campaign was exceptional. You've brought in more revenue this quarter than any VP before you. Meanwhile, Patricia's carefully constructed world began to crumble. Emma exposed her manipulation to their social circle, and the country club membership she prized above all else was revoked in a very public board meeting. Then came the text from Michael. Mom wants to meet, says she'll tell you everything. Your call. I thought about Michael's message for days before agreeing to meet Patricia. The cafe was quiet, almost somber. When she arrived, I barely recognized her. The designer outfit was replaced with simple, worn clothes. Her perfectly styled hair now showed streaks of gray. Even her usual imperious posture was gone. Why? I asked, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions churning inside. Why did you do it? All of it. Her hands trembled around the coffee cup. I grew up poor, she said finally. My mother cleaned houses. When I married Robert, his family treated me exactly how I treated you. I swore my children would never marry beneath our status. She paused, her voice cracking. I became everything I once hated. That doesn't justify destroying people's lives, I said, keeping my tone firm. No, it doesn't, she admitted. I thought I was protecting James. Instead, I turned into my mother-in-law. I controlled, manipulated, destroyed. I lost myself in this persona I created. She told me Robert had filed for divorce after uncovering her manipulations in their family business. Multiple lawsuits followed when her interference came to light. The world she had carefully constructed had crumbled, and she was left to face the ruins. A few weeks later, James asked to meet one last time at our old favorite coffee shop. He looked more grounded than I'd ever seen him. I've been in therapy, he said. I realized I was hiding behind Mom because I was afraid of failing on my own. Letting her control everything meant never having to take responsibility. And now? I asked. Now I know I lost something real because I was afraid of being real myself, he said, his voice heavy with regret. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to stand up for you. Linda called shortly after. Fate finally caught up with Patricia, she said, almost gleeful. How does it feel? I asked her. Honestly, I don't think about her anymore, she replied. And she was right. While Patricia faced the fallout, divorced, sued, and banned from the social circles she once dominated, I was thriving. My team won a national marketing award. I began teaching at the local university. Most importantly, I was free. Yesterday, Patricia sent me one last letter. I know it's too late for forgiveness, but I want you to know you were always better than me, not because of status or money, but because you never let anyone dim your light. I dimmed mine so long ago I forgot it even existed. I didn't respond. Some bridges are meant to stay burned, and some apologies come too late. The last time I saw Patricia, she was sitting alone at a cafe. No designer bag in sight, no social circle to perform for. Our eyes met briefly. I smiled, raised my coffee cup in a small salute, and walked away. My life was waiting, and it was beautiful, not because I'd won, but because I had refused to lose myself.